You know that feeling? You're in a museum, staring at some amazing artifact behind glass, and you just wish you could feel its story instead of just reading about it on a tiny plaque? Well, in Japan, that's not just a wish. We're about to show you how history there isn't something you just look at, it's something you can actually live.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? So much of history feels trapped, locked away, totally untouchable. But what if we could just break through that barrier? What if we could connect with the past in a way we can actually physically feel? So let's do it. Let's step right through that glass together. We're about to jump into a world where you don't just learn about history, you get to be a part of the story yourself.
Okay, first stop on our journey, the incredible ancient capital, Kyoto. But we're not just here to see the temples. No, we're here to tap into the very spirit that built this city. We're heading to a place called the Samurai Kembu Theater.
Now this is how it works, and it's so much more than just swinging a sword around. It all starts with putting on the traditional robes. You can actually feel the weight and the history in the fabric. Then it's about the etiquette, the proper bow, the draw of the sword, that deep, deep respect for the blade. As you practice the movements, you realize, wow, this isn't sword fighting. It's more like a dance of discipline. You're diving right into the core samurai values of honor, focus, and grace.
All right, from the warrior's spirit, we're going to shift gears to the artisan's touch. Our next stop is Kanazawa, often called Little Kyoto. And here, we're not just going to look at the stunning art of the Edo period, we're actually going to help create it.
And to really wrap your head around Kanazawa's importance, you just need to know this one number. A staggering 99% of all of Japan's gold leaf is made right here. Just think about that. That one fact alone tells you you're in a city that is absolutely steeped in artistry and incredible craftsmanship.
So in Kanazawa, you've got a choice of how to get hands-on. You can try applying these unbelievably thin sheets of gold leaf, connecting you directly to the wealth and power of the Maeda clan who once ruled here. Or you could try Kage Yuzen silk dyeing, patiently painting these beautiful, vibrant patterns on a fabric. Either way, you're learning something profound about the Japanese appreciation for meticulous, patient skill.
Okay, from the refined world of art, let's take a little trip into the shadows. We're heading to Iga, a region in the mountains famous for one thing, the ninja. But I need you to forget everything you've seen in the movies. The Iga Ryu Ninja Museum is all about finding out the real story behind Japanese espionage.
And this is where it gets really, really fun. You actually get to go inside a real ninja house and learn its secrets. I mean, imagine trying to find hidden trapdoors or figuring out how to get through revolving walls that were built for a quick escape. And of course, you get to practice throwing shuriken, the famous throwing stars. But here's the twist, the biggest surprise. You learn that shuriken were not the deadly weapons you see in films. They were tools for distraction. The whole point was to create a moment of confusion so the ninja could get away cleanly. And that one little fact completely changes how you see them. The ninja goes from this cinematic assassin to a master of pure strategy and survival.
For our last stop, we're just a short trip away from bustling, modern Tokyo, but it feels like we're stepping into a town that's been frozen since the 1800s. Welcome to Kawagoe, also known as Little Edo, where you can literally walk through the age of merchants.
The very first thing you'll notice are these incredible, imposing buildings lining the main street. They're called kurazukuri. They're these amazing, heavy, clay-walled warehouses that the wealthy merchants built to protect their goods from fires. It's this unique architecture that really makes you feel like you've been transported back in time.
So just picture it. You're walking down these historic streets. Maybe you're grabbing a traditional sweet potato treat, which the town is famous for. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the whole vibe just feels like a journey into the past.
But here is the thing that ties it all together. The real game changer. The simple act of renting a yukata for the day, that's a casual summer kimono. It completely transforms the experience. All of a sudden, you're not just a tourist looking at history anymore. You're feeling it in the fabric you're wearing. You're hearing it in the clack of your wooden sandals on the pavement. It makes the past feel personal and present and just completely real.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, whether you're holding a sword or applying delicate gold leaf or just walking down a street in a yukata, history stops being something you just read in a book. It becomes a lived experience. It's about that hands-on tactile connection, that full cultural immersion, and it creates memories that are so much more vivid than any photo you could ever take.
Which brings us to one last question for you. We've seen how Japan gives you these amazing opportunities to literally live its history. So it kind of makes you wonder, if you could step through the glass into any moment from the past, anywhere in the world, what piece of history would you want to live?